Well, when you do a deep dive on what these gurus believe about certain topics, you uncover some pretty insane things. And, Wade Pfau, who he's a PhD from Princeton, is probably the most universally respected expert on retirement income and sustainable retirement planning. I mean, he writes in the foreword for my book, he says, I had no idea that, for example, Dave Ramsey said that you should not do a Roth conversion if you're within 5 years for retirement. He says there's no mathematical justification for doing that. He says that Dave Ramsey also says you should never do a Roth conversion unless you have the cash with which to pay the tax on the Roth conversion. He says that's wrong too. It's like everything that Dave says about that where he's outside of his lane, and I think his lane is really getting people out of debt. Literally everything that he says that's outside of his lane has been sort of shot through with arrows by experts from every possible angle. And so part of me I began this whole journey knowing that the gurus were wrong on a lot of things, but I didn't realize how many things that they were wrong on. And so I really try to set the record straight by harnessing math and the opinions of some of the best experts out there to sort of turn a critical eye on what these gurus are saying about very, very important principles that if people take them at the letter, if they take them at face value, they are going to run out of money much sooner than they otherwise would have had to. So those are some of the surprising things that I sort of turned up along the way.
Yeah, that's when we're hearing advice from some of these financial gurus or experts that you keep mentioning. How do we know what's good advice or discern the good versus the bad?
Yeah. At the end of the day, math is the universal sort of measuring stick as to whether a recommendation is good or not. You can't argue with math. And if you start to prod and pick at a financial guru's recommendation or financial planning advice, and it doesn't hold up to math, then it's not something that you should really be embracing. And so when Dave Ramsey says 100% of life insurance sucks 100% of the time, well, okay, that's an opinion. That's a sweeping generalization, but where's the math to buttress that thesis? Where is the intellectual rigor that's going into that sort of recommendation? Now, if Dave Ramsey were to, for example, say, look, a lot of people are out there proclaiming this volatility buffer strategy whereby you use cash value life insurance, you live out of your cash value life insurance in the year following a down year in the stock market. The math doesn't really add up in that scenario. Of course, the math does add up, but if you were to challenge that, then you can sort of meet them on mathematical grounds and sort of have a humane discussion about it. But that's not what he does. He just distills everything down into 10-second sound bites that have nothing to do with math. They have just everything to do with how can I spoon feed them bite-sized pieces of information that will make them feel like I have all the answers and that I'm the one-stop shop and that they should put all of their faith in me because what I say is the gospel truth. And so I think that the silver lining in all of this is that if we apply sound mathematical principles to a given piece of financial advice, then math is always what wins out. And I've never given a strategy that I haven't tried to corroborate with math before having done so. And so I think that math is really the universal sort of barometer by which we can sort of adjudicate whether people are giving us good advice or not.
Yeah, I think that's good. And what you talking about the math and even going back to Dave Ramsey, I've personally watched enough Dave Ramsey on YouTube and stuff. I would love to see him have a conversation with you, but it's hard for me to believe that he would. Even when you see the clips of people calling into his show, it's like he won't even let people talk most of the time. So he doesn't come across as the type that's actually going to get into the actual math. You know, he just doesn't seem like he's going to do that. So I would love to see that, though. So, maybe one day we'll make that happen.
The only way I would never call into a show, because he has a way of shutting you down. You and I have seen it time and time again. The only way that I would do it is if it's a moderated debate and he gets an opening statement, I get an opening statement. He gets to respond to my opening statement. I get to respond to his opening statement. Then we take questions from the audience. I mean, that's really the only way to have a debate. That way or you or I can ask questions of him, he can ask questions of me. I mean, that's how a debate is supposed to go. You're never going to fully vet these types of concepts by simply having somebody call in and then having him determine how, the flow of the dialogue is going to go. And so I would be totally open to that. If this, the goal is to make this a New York Times bestseller, if this becomes a New York Times bestseller, then I think we stand a much higher chance of being able to have that sort of a debate.
Folks, my upcoming book, The Guru Gap, How America's Financial Gurus Are Leading You Astray and How to Get Back on Track, is now available for pre-order on Amazon. Take the opportunity to order your copy today. By the way, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 1 million Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes down the road, head on over to davidmcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that's been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head over to powerzero.com and opt into my free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.